We look at the law and gospel from the account of the giving of the law, where God gives the 10 commandments and the other laws to his people. What's the bad news or the do of the story? Well, God gives his commandments and he doesn't have low expectations, he has high expectations. God expects perfection from his people, and that's not me and that's not you. Because of sin, because of Adam and Eve, we can't meet those high expectations of the law. God demands that we not only that our outward actions are perfect, but even our thoughts. In the 10 Commandments, we hear it's not just like murder, it's not just something you can see, but it's coveting. It reminds us that it's not just murder, it really is even hate. It's sinful thoughts that God knows and expects to be perfect, and we can't meet it. And finally, with the law, God knows when we break his commandments, and he punishes all sin. He has a threat that goes with these commandments, and he knows everything. We can't hide from him. If just these commandments are what God had given us, we would just have to be sad because we couldn't keep them. But we do find good news with these commands. First of all, God loved us enough to give us his law as a mirror, curb, and a guide. The law isn't because God hates us or wants to make us jump through hoops. He wants us, first of all, to see how much we need a Savior, but also as a way to look at ourselves and see our sin, and work on improving ourselves, and a curb to keep everybody from going crazy, and a guide to show us how we can really love our God. He loved us enough to give us the law. Now, because we cannot keep these laws, we look to Jesus. Jesus obeyed all of God's laws perfectly in our place. So when we go through these commandments, we go, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. We'd just be sad. But the good news is when we look at Jesus, he did it, he did it, he did it, he did it. He completed a perfect life and kept all the commandments, even all the sins of thought, he kept them perfectly for us. And finally, God gave us the law to point to our need for the gospel in Jesus. Sometimes we say SOS, where it shows our sin is what the law does, but it shows us that we need a Savior. It gets us ready for this gospel. That we need exactly what we need is exactly who Jesus is, and Jesus did it all. He took the curse for us. He loved us that much. Even though we're this sinful, we see in the law, God still chooses to love us. So a summary of the big takeaway from the giving of the law: God lovingly gave his people the 10 Commandments. We cannot keep God's law, and we see our need for a Savior. Jesus kept all God's laws perfectly in our place and paid for our breaking of them. This is what we get from the law and gospel of the giving of the law.